Assalamualaikum and hi. My name is Muhd Raziq bin Kazura with the matric number S60651, the student of Year 3 from Bachelor of Nautical Science and Maritime Transportation. Today I would like to present my proposal for the subject MNS4001 Research Methodology. My research title is Seafarers Port-Based Service Facility, the Demand and Benefits to Malaysia. About 40% of country's gross domestic product (GDP) was contributed by Malaysian maritime industry, given the central position on Malacca Strait and South China Sea. Significant with the port demand, a port-based welfare service is a good example of idea to be built in port. Long contract, changing work shift, permanent influence of physical parameter over 24 hours per day, only a few examples representing high psychophysical stress. Most ports nowadays built away in urban city and give difficulties for seafarers to have shore leave. International Labour Conference have acknowledged the importance of port-based welfare for seafarers, and appropriate requirements have been included in Part 4 of Maritime Labour Conference 2006. Port-based welfare needs important facilities regarding their demand and need. In Malaysia, the service facility like port-based welfare in port around Malaysia is absent. A port-based welfare that should provide important facilities and essential need for the seafarers after a long voyage at sea. Maritime industry of Malaysia is having a huge growth for these recent years. However, there is no facility like port-based welfare service in port around Malaysia, despite their demand on shipbuilding. Hence, I conduct a research to firstly obtain information regarding seafarers' welfare in Malaysia port. Secondly, to determine whether port-based welfare is a need in Malaysia port. And thirdly, to study the benefit of port-based welfare to the country and maritime industry. I conduct 4 steps of methodology to gain information and studies for my research. Step 1. Seafarers' welfare data collection in Malaysia port. This step was carried out by developing and disturbing questionnaire to obtain the demographic and needs data from the seafarers that berthing at major port in Malaysia. I choose port of Tanjung Pelepas and Port Klang as my research field because it is the prominent container terminal in Malaysia. Hence, these 2 ports will be the model of my research. Next, step 2 is the data analysis of the previous data collected in step 1. To analyze my data, I use the descriptive statistic to obtain the important versus not important service in port. Descriptive statistic was chosen because it's easy to distinguish the data that I need for the research. This method was also used to show the variability of service needed for this port-based welfare service. The important service will take into account for the establishment of the seafarers port-based welfare service. The equation used in descriptive statistic method is mean and standard deviation formula. Step 3 is receiving the opinion from the expert by conducting a meeting with them. The meeting was conducted to reflect their opinion and to look beneficial related to the establishment of port-based welfare service. The outcome of the meeting will hugely determine the benefits to the maritime sector and country. Lastly, step 4 is the result. It is the output of step 2 and step 3 that will produce the result for the research. Result and discussion. In step 1, questionnaire was distributed among seafarers at Port of Tanjung Pelepas and Port Klang to collect their demographic and needs regarding the seafarers' welfare. The questionnaire was distributed to at least 100 seafarers, and about 80 from them responded back to the questionnaire. Based on the table 1, we can see the range of their age is 30 years old, and most of them are a single man. The range of their seafarers' experience are about 25 years, and most of them was already on 5 months on the ship. Step 2 of the methodology consists of the data analysis. Seafarers were asked to rate important items based on 3-point scale. 1 is important, 2 is not important, and 3 is indifferent. In table 2, the descriptive statistic of important versus not important over 18 measurement items of 6 types of service were summed up. To simplify the presentation, the record 1 is important and 0 is not important or indifferent. This analysis will determine the need of establishment of the based seafarers' welfare. Based on this table 2, it shows majority of seafarers consider the service of communication, monetary service, seafarer centres and club, transportation and health and leisure service is important. Major of the seafarers also rate high for the needs of transportation to shopping mall, having internet access or Wi-Fi, and money exchange counter. In step 3, the result of this data analysis was brought to the meeting with expert. The expert that invited to the meeting was from Port Authority and Marine Department. Based on this analysis, it shows that the demand of good welfare service will serve at the port for seafarers. By building the hub or port-based seafarers' welfare, it can indirectly generate income from the service provided for the port, thus will give some benefit to the port itself. As conclusion on the study of seafarers' port-based service facility, the demand and its benefit to Malaysia, I can conclude that the establishment of this port-based welfare is a must to build in Malaysia's port. Port Klang and Port of Tanjung Pelepas will be a pioneer project to establish and accommodate the port-based welfare. The presence of the demand should be an opportunity for us to indirectly generate income for the port itself. However, concerning to shorter lead time of vessel berthing in port nowadays, it should also be taken into consideration. The process of loading and unloading cargo become more easy and faster due to current technologies. The port-based seafarer welfare that want to be built must at least facilitate according to the demand of the seafarer itself to prevent unnecessary project being abandoned and waste if built without taking information of the seafarer's demand and needs. Last but not least, I would like to thank everyone who involved in making this research and study. I do hope this study would become beneficial to others.